want to ask you, I'm going to say a couple of words, and I want you to tell me which comes to mind when you hear these.
Oh,
when you hear this. Okay, damn. Oh, Has, you sending me mad shit, okay. You sending me too much, okay. Finally Famous. What do you think of when you think of that?
Man, I think of the parties that we threw from out of high school. That was like our clique name, Finally Famous. So that was we used to throw parties in Club Blue. Anybody in Detroit know Club Blue knew Plan B. And we would go to Bowling Green, Michigan State, throw parties everywhere around the city, and those were my first shows. You know what I'm saying? So I started from battle rapping in high school to, and then, you know, doing the Friday Night Cypher, which was a show on the radio station during high school when my grandma had a stroke, and that's the only reason I had a car is because she had just got a car and then had a stroke where half her body got paralyzed.
God bless.
So, anyway, you know, it happens, you know. But that gave me the opportunity to be able to get across the city. So I would be, you know, everywhere I needed to be, open mics, battle rapping and everything. So yeah, that's what, and you know, my first album, my first mixtapes.
Right.
I really, even though I did have obviously an amazing cosign, I really had to build that shit.
Yeah. Right.
You know, because there were other people who had that same cosign.
And there's still other people who got that cosign and it ain't happening for them.
Yeah, so I really had to put in that work.
It didn't feel like that cosign was overt in the beginning. Like, it didn't seem like it was in everybody's face.
Right.
So it did have to work for them.
It was that era, like, you know, right after the dedication mixtapes and all, like 50 Cent mixtapes and who else was going crazy on the mixtape circuit? Like, definitely Wayne was like, you know, that was what we used to ride to school listening to, was Dedication 1, Dedication 2, you know what I'm saying, Carter. And that was like the mixtape era. He really, I feel like, helped. Him and Jeezy too helped, like, really.
The mixtape era?
Yeah, for sure. Like, at least from my perspective, like, I could be wrong too, but like, you know.
No, you make a valid point.
But I'm talking about because you remember that mixtape, that Piff, that like,
that era.
You know what I'm saying? Live mixtapes. That was like it led into that, and that was what me, Cole, Drake, Wale, we took advantage of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And Kendrick.
Right.
I believe. He had mixtapes, I believe.
Okay, so
Wiz, you know what I'm saying?
How about this one?
Wiz definitely.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Second album.
Okay, what do you think?
Learning process. I did with N.O.R.E. All my albums was just like reflections of where I was at in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. And that was just, it was fast. Everything was just moving so fucking fast. Wow. That was my first time where I was listening to people say, like, you gotta hurry up, you gotta hurry up, you gotta drop this, you gotta
Meaning
drop
to
this.
catch the date? To meet the dates?
That's the only album that I was rushed on, because I also dropped my Detroit mixtape, which I consider as one of my best albums too. Right. Wow. And I dropped both of those around the same time. And I just felt the pressure of, like, it was one of the times.
But Detroit 1 wasn't considered an album. That was considered a mixtape.
I was considered a mixtape, but it was an album though. It was all original music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And through Def Jam as well, right?
Well.
cool.
No. But I'm actually putting that on streaming services like in the next week or two. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. It was a long fucking process, like trying to clear everything. But so. That was a time where I was trying to keep up with the pace of, like, okay, I had, you know, back-to-back platinum singles. My first album is going, you know, and then a mixtape. And then that was around the same time that Click dropped with me, Hov, and Ye, and all the good music, the Cruel Summer, you know what I'm saying? So then everybody's like, you gotta strike, you gotta hurry up. And it's like, that is definitely, was a learning process of, like, okay, you got to be on your schedule. If the shit not ready, it's not ready.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not to say it wasn't ready, but I definitely was rushing during that process, you know?
Okay. How about Dark Sky Paradise?
So Dark Sky Paradise is where I took my fucking time.
Okay.
Where you learned the lesson.
Your face changed. You look so much
You're like, lesson learned.
Like, you look so much. You want some 42? You want some? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know, we're a Deleon show. We're a Ciroc show. But for you, we're going to let the 42 go. Come on. Yeah.
But you know, I support black business.
Okay, yeah, please.
I support black business.
Yeah, please. Yeah, look. All this is black hip-hop business right here. All this, you know.
Ain't that beautiful?
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful goddamn thing.
But yeah, so Dark Sky Paradise is where I, like, somebody gonna pour this shot?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Come on.
My nigga Zeno?
Yes. That's your name, Zeno? That's fire. Continue. That's fire.
So that's just where I applied everything I learned.
And
you know,
so
I got a lot of stories with that. We could come back to it.
So is this the time where you're sitting back and you're saying, you taking your career into your own hands? Or we still got, these executives that's involved and things like that? Or how does this work?
It was definitely, if you sign to any label, it's executives involved, but it's just about how much they involve. This is the first time where I was like really producing, knew exactly the type of music I wanted to make, and the features I wanted to have, I was just clear on it. Because that's where I was at in life. It was my first time where I was like, okay, I got some shit to prove again. Whenever I get in that position, it feels like that I always rise to the occasion, you know what I'm saying? And that was one of the first times that I felt like that. I did feel like that when I was making a Detroit mixtape too. And with Dark Sky Paradise, it was just a divine thing how everything was unfolding, all the features was happening, from Blessings, that came at the very last second.
Way up, I feel blessed.
Last second, you know what I'm saying? And from One Man Could Change the World, that was probably one of my favorite songs on that album because I wrote that about my grandma. And when I say man, I just mean human being, how they refer to man in the Bible as a human, man, woman. But so, she was one of the first female black captains in World War II. She was one of the first female police officers in Detroit. After that, she became a teacher, a counselor. She was completely bossed up, you know what I'm saying? And I dedicated that song to her.
That's dope.
But my favorite song on that album is Paradise. That's one of the ones on that one for me. Yeah.
Okay. How about I Decided?
I Decided. That's might be one of my favorite. I'm trying to see if that's my favorite album I've done.
I thought you was gonna say Finally Famous or Hall of Fame is your favorite album. Hall of
They
Fame
all
you said
got
was
special
Rush.
places.
Okay, yeah, okay.
As it should.
But it's still my favorite though, because that's
what's
it's
crazy?
an art to that as well.
When I listen to Hall of Fame, I don't feel like this rushed at all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I'm outside of looking at them artists. So when people, there's fans that come up to me, they love Melvin Flint, and I'll be like, yo man, I just hated where I was at in life when I made that album, so I could never appreciate it like how they appreciate it. But I decided, so where was you at?
Yeah. So and again, let's talk about I Decided. I decided. I had a dream. I remember calling one of my niggas up, and I had a dream that I was an old man and had regretted everything I fucking did wrong in life. I straight up had a dream.
Deep. Yo, that's deep. I never heard no shit like that.
Had a fucking dream like that, bro.
Wait, hold on. So you had a dream that you were an old man,
he was already old.
And in all actuality, if you make it to be an old man, that's a blessing. That's a success. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
So how could you saying that?
Because I couldn't.
But he's saying he lived his life, he regretted it.
Wow. Because I couldn't remember anything that happened. Wow. I was old and couldn't remember anything.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Not that you regretted what you had lived.
Yeah. So I was like, what the fuck? I can't remember anything I did.
Wow.
So I just remember feeling that way for like a few days, and I told my boy, and he was like, that's a fire concept for like a short film or something.
Wow.
My homie's a director.
Wow.
And my homie Lawrence. And then as I was getting in the studio, for some reason that energy just transferred into the studio, and that was kind of the whole overlying concept of the album, is like living life with the wisdom of your older self, but coming to it as approaching it as your present self. You know what I'm saying? Because all you really got is that moment. So that was for I Decided how I was feeling at the time.
Okay. So how about Double or Nothing with Metro Boomin?
That was just straight fun. Yeah, I was in Atlanta.
Because I thought that was like a mixtape at first, but it seems like they counted as an album.
No, it was a mixtape.
It's a mixtape?
It didn't count on my motherfucking contract.
Damn, let me be quiet, man. Them Jam is in the building.
Yeah.
They pushing that shit as an album, my brother.
Yeah, because I also did 2088 with Janae.
And that was an album?
Not an album.
That's not an album, but Def Jam put it out.
They bullshitting me.
Oh, yeah. You got to go through some accounting. Yeah. Okay, but Double or Nothing, let's go. Just one, you said?
Yeah, Metro. That was just fun, bro. We was like in Atlanta. That was my just moving, and that was the first time that I wanted to work with a producer solely, and he was just like, don't think about it, just go in there and lay it down. Like a lot of everything on there was just like I usually go back, I usually listen, and it was just like recorded, done, out.
So if you were your album with Metro helped you with the album with Hit Boy that y'all just dropped, right?
Well, that was an EP too.
Okay, that's an EP too. Okay,
yeah, that's only like 5 or 6 songs.
Okay,
yeah. So my last album was Detroit 2.
Okay, yeah, that's my last one.
Yeah.
Detroit 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So where you was at? Well, let's get into that.
Yeah, where I was at with Detroit 2.
Yeah.
That was my 5th album. So let me ask you a question. You know how it is making albums.
Yes, I do.
So like, it's a difference when you get to your first album, when you get to your second album, when you get to your third album, and you do a project on the side after your third album, and then you come to your 4th album, and then you go to another project that you do that's, you know, not an album, and then you come back. So it's like I was
overwhelmed.
Not overwhelmed.
Writer's block.
More like life block.
Right. Uninspired.
More like fucking tired.
Right. That's real. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
You get tired. It's like
that's real.
And I had just moved into this like crazy crib in Beverly Hills.
God bless you, man. Yeah. God bless you.
Well, I sold the crib now.
You sold the crib now?
Yeah, I sold it now.
Didn't you live next to Khaled or some shit like that? Or didn't you live next to Khaled at one point?
Yeah, okay. He sold his too.
Okay, he sold his too. Goddamn, let's make some noise for y'all. That's
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
As a black man in America, you're supposed to buy land and either keep it in your family or get a good deal and sell that motherfucker. You know, and keep that in your family too. But
you're staying in LA. You're not moving out of LA, right?
I stay in Detroit and LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had the Detroit crib first. Okay. First and foremost. That's why I brought my mom, my grandma, right before she died. That was the first thing I did. That was my first big purchase.
So Detroit 2. So
Detroit 2. So Detroit 2. I grew a lot as a person, bro. Cause you know I went through the real nigga shit. Like when you go through, let me scratch that. I went through real people shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like learning to deal with how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't be heavy into like drugs and shit. There was a point in my life where I did experience like
Molly. What you fucking with?
I was fucking with Adderall.
Adderall. Oh, you like to be focused. You a focused type of dude.
Yeah, nigga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Adderall. That's motherfuckers who want to study.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers
gives you focus.
You want to be focused. Okay.
Yeah. And I was starting to feel like I couldn't function without this shit. So I gave it up, right?
Right.
And had to get back on my just relying on myself. And I come from a parent. I have 2 parents, my mom and my dad, but mainly my mom, who taught me a lot of things. She taught me how to manifest my life. She taught me early on how to meditate. She taught me early on that God is our creator and God is within you and you have the powers of God to create and manifest the things that you want in life. She taught me that early on. She gave me books. Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra.